Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Bay Path and our weekly football show with Coach Giampo. We are always excited to bring the best about football and athletics here at Bay Path, and we're not going to disappoint once again today. Happy Friday, Coach. Great to see you. How's your day been?
It's been going well. You?
Outstanding, man. Outstanding. Thank you so much about reminding me. We both get so busy sometimes we forget to get this scheduled off first thing in the morning. But we always want to continue with this tradition because I think it's super important for us just to hold these platforms to talk about, the team, talk about how we're doing and just the direction of things. And it's so important. So again, let's start off. Let's go right at it. Let's talk about Clinton last week. Great opportunity to learn. Clinton's a strong football team. What were your thoughts coming out of that game?
Yeah, I mean Clinton's they're a really good team, very physical. A lot of seniors on their team, so they know what they're doing. They executed well, and yeah, I mean they're probably one of the, if not the best, one of the best teams we played so far. So it was a long night, but that happens sometimes in football. Winning is hard. Playing and competing against good teams is hard. So that wasn't what we wanted, but like I said, they're a good team, and hopefully our kids got better by competing against them.
I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that they get better by playing that type of talent because it does make you realize how hard you have to work. They had quality, skilled kids in positions, senior laden teams, and those things are, last year you end up, you beat them, and those things are cyclical. So again, lessons that you take off the field like that are super important. There's no doubt about it. So you've had a good week in practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I give our kids a lot of credit. They work really hard. They came back on Monday, and we had a long week this week of practice. Our last day of practice is today because of the game tomorrow. So, but they went right back at it. They don't get discouraged. They kind of understand, the work that needs to be put in and the time and effort that it takes to win a football game. So, they got right back to work, and I think we've had a really good week. Our leadership this week, I thought, took a nice step forward in holding kids accountable in practice and making sure that, again, practice was, it can't be coach-led in terms of, the intensity and the pace of practice. And I think our leaders on the team, the older kids that we do have, and some of the captains, I think they did a good job of holding kids accountable and making sure that we're working hard and forcing kids to step up. So that was good to see.
And that's great because that's where you develop leadership skills in those kids. So again, each and every day, the practice helps create the outcomes. And again, even when the chips are down, you still have to work hard. You got to keep grinding. And I'll tell you, it's a long season. You said that many times before. So shifting gears, obviously looking ahead to tomorrow's game against Northbridge, we knew going into this year that there were going to be a lot of challenges. There's no doubt about it. And I think tomorrow is no difference. Let's talk a little bit about the history of Northbridge football and, how to prepare mentally and physically for that type of game tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, Northbridge is probably one of the best teams in Central Mass this year. Their quarterback is one of the best players that I've seen in my time coaching. So, I mean, that always causes a problem. Their skill kids are good. Their defense flies around. So, yeah, tomorrow's going to be a tremendous challenge for us. Again, it's a team that has a lot of seniors, has a lot of leadership, and they're a battle-tested group too. They've played good teams, so it'll be a challenge. But again, that's what competition's all about. If you want to be good, you got to compete. So we're going to be there. We'll be competing. We'll be taking our best swings at them. So I mean, it's exciting. Northbridge and Bay Path haven't played each other very often. I think they've only played one time.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I was told this week. That the only time that we've ever played Northbridge was in 1989 for the Super Bowl that year. So it's cool. So again, this is kind of what this is kind of what you want to do as a program. You want to play, the top teams. We're not hiding from anybody. We're not, we'll play whoever. So this is, a situation that I'm excited because I like to compete. So I'm excited. And I think our kids have had the right attitude this week in competing and understanding that, if we do our job, then good things will happen. But it's going to be a challenge because they're an incredibly talented football team.
So for the audience out there, what do you do as a coach to ensure to keep building mindset around the purpose and why? Again, you have a couple losses, and that's part of life. Guess what? That's any sport you're in and anything in life, you're going to be knocked backwards a few times. But how do you as a coach continue to motivate? And I think that's the biggest thing we do as educators, continue to remind kids that the job in front of them, it isn't going to help you win every time. It's going to help prepare you every time. So talk about that a little bit from mindset.
Yeah, I mean, when you compete, there's only two outcomes, right? I mean, you're either going to win or you're going to lose. So, if you roll the dice enough times, it comes out about 50-50. But, you have to keep doing everything you can to keep trying to, stack them up and have more good days than bad days and keep learning, keep getting better. And then like in sports, it's hard. Sports are hard, and football in particular is incredibly hard. So, you just kind of keep telling the kid, you just keep stacking them up. I think as a coach, you have to be enthusiastic about what you're doing, which again, I'm very enthusiastic about this group. I think this group has a lot of talent. They're just young. And so we just got to keep hammering away. And again, when you do, eventually good things will happen. It's way easier to throw the cards in and walk away and throw your hands up. And that's the default position of a lot of people. Apathy is, unfortunately, apathy is kind of the default position of so many people. So if you're one of the people who can just keep, hammering away and keep pounding the rock and just keep going after it every day, eventually good things will happen. And, trying to, as a coach, you try to highlight the successes that maybe aren't on the scoreboard necessarily, but again, you can't fool kids. Kids want to win. And, again, and something I remind the kids all the time, like, I think the hardest thing for kids is when things aren't going well, they start listening to the outside voices and the outside noises and, reminding the kids that those, they're not as invested as you are. Nobody wants to win more than the kids do at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. I mean, kids who are invested, who are go to practice every day, nobody wants to win more than they do. And so you can listen to the outside voices telling you, oh, you're not as good as this, or, oh, you guys aren't that good or whatever. But just understand it's so easy to make a comment as opposed to putting in the work every day and getting better. And as long as you're getting better every week and we're, hammering away and focusing on the fundamentals and doing the right things, and eventually things will break your way. And you just got to keep that mindset. Again, I'm not discouraged. I think, we've made mistakes in games, but that's part of it. That's, you're not going to, be perfect every game, but you got to keep striving to be perfect. And if you do that, like I said, good things eventually will come your way. And then when, you get that first good one, then you make that a habit and it breaks the way you want it to.
I love that. And I love how you articulated that out. You're absolutely right. Every day, a good head coach is teaching every lesson in life that helps get you to be resilient and bounce back. And, the hashtag keep grinding. And that's what we do. We just keep grinding. Good things will happen. You got to outwork the person next to you. And again, that's something that is instilled in great programs, great athletes, great people, all in all. So again, let's talk about what time tomorrow?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock tomorrow. There you go, right there, everybody. If you get a chance to come around, 1 o'clock tomorrow at Northbridge High School, Bay Path Minutemen will be taking on the Northbridge Rams. Wish you the best of luck, Coach, as always. Thank you so much for joining us.